Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. This is the show where we educate you, empower you, entertain you a bit, and inspire you to live your most fearlessly authentic life. Because, in my opinion, what are we doing here if we're not taking risks? And the hardest risk to take is the one that we take on ourselves, even though we're scared. And that's what I love talking to people about today. Although I don't think my guest was really scared of taking a risk, but we're gonna find that out today. My guest today is Natalie Holloway, co-founder of Bala. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
I'm so excited to be here too. We have a lot of catching up to do. Natalie was on the show back in 2020. And for those of you who have never heard of Bala, let's go. I'm going to introduce Natalie right now. Natalie is the co-founder of Bala, a Los Angeles-based movement company. Natalie, a certified yoga instructor, and her fellow co-founder, eventual husband, shipped the first 75,000 units of their now infamous Bala bangles from their garage before appearing on Shark Tank, where they secured an investment from Mark Cuban and Maria Sharapova. Bala has since been featured in the likes of Forbes, the New York Times, Esquire, and was dubbed one of the 17 items that defined 2020 by Vogue. Prior to Bala, Natalie worked at best-in-class advertising agencies on marquee brands, including Starbucks, Google, and Jeep. Natalie attended Fashion Institute of Technology before graduating from the University of Texas at Austin. Natalie is mother to Watson and Uma and dog mom to Penny and Naomi. Welcome to the show 2023. It's crazy.
I know. Thank you. Wow. Thank you for that intro.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you deserve it. You have worked so hard in everything that you've done. And as I mentioned before, I read your bio, you were back on the show. You appeared on Shark Tank in February 2020. I had you on the show in July of 2020. And I mean, tell us, like, from the time that happened to where you are now, and then we're going to start at the beginning, how much your life has changed.
I mean, yeah, dramatically, I would say. The business has really matured in that time. We really kind of grew up as a business during COVID. A lot has happened, turbulence, you name it. And then I had two kids. So I've had two kids. I probably moved, just like anything you can imagine has happened in 2.5 years. So
That is just wild. It's, the dream to see your child, because you're like my daughter's age, somewhere around there. And just to see that, I'm sure your family is so, so proud of you.
that's so sweet. Yeah. Oh, that's really sweet.
No, I do. I feel like a kinship, like, I could see this. Like, I'm so proud of you.
That's so kind. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's and I know that you work with family members too. You have a lot of your family members working with you, right?
Yes, very close to my family. My mom is our nanny, and
Oh,
my sisters both actually did work at Bala. Now they still kind of do freelance stuff for us. But then they've since moved on. I mean, it's like they worked there for 5 years and they were ready for the next thing. But they're
right.
very much still like involved in like freelance and just like big supporters and everything. So definitely a big family person.
How can you not be a supporter of this? So let's go back to what your life was like before you started Bala. You and Max, your husband, were dating and working crazy hours at an advertising agency, right?
Yeah, so we were in advertising and we were working, insane hours. It was pre-COVID, so it was just one of those careers where they expected you to work like not 9 to 5, like 9 to 9. It was like
Right.
every night, like it was ridiculous. And we were just exhausted and we were burnt out. And we said, let's quit our jobs. We have great resumes. We'll kind of quit and travel. And there was somewhat confidence, like people bounce around a lot in advertising. So it was like people would like work at an agency for a year and then bounce, go to another one. So it wasn't as risky at the time. It was like, okay, we'll go travel for a year, then we'll get jobs in advertising again. And really, it was on that trip that the idea came about for our first product, which was Bala Bangles. But I always say, like, giving yourself that headspace instead of just like cog in the wheel, run, like giving yourself headspace really allows you to like think outside of the box, and like it doesn't have to be like starting, you know, your own brand, but just, you know, what do you want to do with your life? It's nice to give yourself that headspace, and that's what we did, and that's where Bala came about. So I
It's so
always,
true. It's so
yeah.
true because when you're going, and
Mhm.
you have your hands in five different things, or you're just working at one job and you're working on different projects like you were, you don't have the bandwidth, you don't have the space in your mind to actually start being creative, right? You can be creative in the job that you're doing because it's almost like you know how to push and plug everything. But
Mhm.
when you do have that quiet time, which so many of us don't give ourselves, that's when the creative juices get going.
Yeah, I mean, I find it's so true, and it can be big, like a sabbatical or a, you know, like a month trip or something. But I feel like it also can be small. Like sometimes I'll just be like, I need to, you know, go to yoga, and an idea comes to me during the yoga
Right.
class, you know. So it's like just giving yourself that time. That's not just work, work, work. Because I think, you know, in this day and age, it's very easy to get caught up in work, work, hustle culture, but which is great, but you got to give yourself a moment too.
Well, during COVID, I felt like when we had the lockdown, just before I started, well, I was doing the show during COVID, but then I think by the time I talked to you, which we believe was July of 2020, that, you know, everybody was starting to go back sort of kind of to work. But I loved being in lockdown because it actually gave me that time to think. And in the past year, I sold my studio and I've just had time to think. And it's been so beautiful. It's like a new lease on life because you've given your mind and your body time to rest and actually think, like, what do I want to do? What makes me happy? And I've heard you talk about being curious is very, very important to what you do. And that's what it was. We don't have time sometimes to be curious.
Yeah, and I do think like COVID was like, obviously there's a ton of bad things about the time in COVID, but one of the good things that happened was everybody, like you said, had a moment to explore a hobby or just like slow down, because think about it, all your social plans were, you know, out the door. So you just had all of this free time. And I think that that was like a forced thing upon our society, but now you have to like force it upon yourself. Otherwise, it won't happen, because it's very easy to overbook your calendar socially and work hard, or one of the other, you know, and just always stay busy. That's like our culture. So that was kind of like the nice thing about COVID for everyone. We all collectively got a breather.
Yes, yes. Okay, so you're working at the advertising agency. You decide you want to take a break. You decide to travel, right? The two of you. For how long?
So we almost a year, and we went to just like a ton of countries, like 12 or 13 countries in Asia, and we just
That is
did. We were
fabulous.
like, we were over there, so we were like, let's just keep extending it. And yeah, it was great. I
Wow.
won't be able to do that again until I retire. So
Wow. I think that's so wonderful. So you're doing yoga, and what happens?
so we were doing a class, and we really wanted to like sweat and work out. You know, when you go to work out, you have a certain intention. You're like, I'm going to stretch, or I'm getting really sweaty and working hard, or medium workout. You know, you kind of know what you're preparing for. And this day, this particular day, we wanted a sweaty, hard yoga class. By the way, I should have my mugs upstairs. I should have been drinking from my fearlessly
Oh,
authentic
you're
mug
so
too.
sweet.
Um, but anyway, so we did this class, and we wanted to sweat, and it was just very meditative, like no sweat was happening. So we started brainstorming, how could you have tailored that to our fitness needs and made the class harder. And we talked about resistance and dumbbells and, you know, weights and things like that. And we thought about wrist and ankle weights, how basically at that point the only thing that existed were the 80s ones, where they were neoprene, they were sweaty, they were ugly,
They were
and
gross.
yeah, no one wore them as a result. And we were like, that's just weird, because this is a tool that is so beneficial in our busy lifestyles. You know, you can add it to your Pilates or yoga class and get a little bit extra oomph, or you can go on a hike. You can just like, we just were like this, it was like an aha moment, because we were like, no one uses that anymore. Let's redesign it, make it bracelet fashionable. And then Max literally drew it out on a napkin because he's our product designer and he just has like a visionary mind. So he drew it out on a napkin and that was our prototype. But, flash forward to us launching, what we realized is there was a complete white space in the industry where no one was looking at like a yoga mat or a dumbbell and saying, why has it always looked the same since the 80s? Like, why are these items not being upgraded? So then we started looking at the entire category. And so we felt like we could really kind of change the category.
It takes such a vision to look at these things and go, wait a minute, why hasn't anybody made these look better or more fashionable or more usable, that you actually want to look at something and say, I want to use that or leave it out. I heard your husband say that, so many of the machines that we see in gyms are so, masculine and so unattractive. Any type of gym equipment, if you talk about dumbbells or kettlebells, and not that you were doing the same thing, but you're adding resistance to workout. Why not make it attractive? So your ideal client was a woman, right?
Yes, ideal client was a woman. We have probably like 30% male, but we've really leaned into on the women. And I think what we found as the insight is like, if you have your gym equipment out or your bangles are like, aesthetically pleasing enough to walk around, on a hike, then as a result, you'll actually use your products more. And as a result, you're working out more. So there's like a deeper meaning behind it. It's not just like pretty fitness equipment. It is, but it's like, there's a reason because you're going to move your body more as a result. And then also we make our products like a lot more functional too. So we're not just like, like shrink and pink in it. It's like, we're looking at the entire product. We're changing it. We're making it as the best it possibly can functionally. And also, in some cases, adding color and shape and things like that for fun.
The colors are beautiful. They make me really happy. I bought black just because I think I just wanted to get them. And it became like almost like a status symbol.
Yeah.
I don't know, that word might be too strong, but it's, if you were using anything else but Bala, the bangles that around the wrists or around the ankles, because that's all we had during COVID, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
There were very few SKUs, right? I think it was just that. And
that.
Yeah. So whenever you saw anybody working out during those 3 months, like if you didn't have that, like you felt left out. You really did. You felt, what am I missing? And then you saw somebody, I remember my friend bought it in the off-white, the ivory color. I'm like, oh, where did you get that? Oh, I need that too. It was just crazy because it's like the colors are so pretty. It's like pretty candy-ish kind of colors.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And it was just so pretty. And you benefited from using them. And I just thought it was so key that you did.
To make you feel good.
Right. You fused that fitness and fashion, which was always something you wanted to do, right?
Definitely. From the very beginning, we were like, how do we stand out in the fitness industry? We're like, let's lean hardcore into the fashion element, because at the time it just felt like there was a lot of sameness, all masculine, all black. And we were like, let's lean in the fashion area.
Okay. So you're on your trip. Max puts out a sketch. You come back to the US after traveling. What happens then?
So we come back and, we were like, how do we even launch a product? Like, we have no idea. And so I think we began prototyping, which takes a year. So we got jobs in advertising, and we were really just treating it as a side business. And we launched a Kickstarter. Kick Further is another inventory financing tool. Kickstarter we launched, and because we needed to fund our first production run because we didn't have money. And it was essentially like, your first production run is going to be whatever, $20,000, I feel like, or 10. And we said, okay, let's crowdfund it. And then we'll actually see if this is like even a viable idea. And what we were able to do is kind of like test the market via our Kickstarter. And we sold out, we made the goal. And we
Can you
then,
stop? Can you explain? I always hear them talk about this on Shark Tank, and I have a feeling I know what it is, but I couldn't explain it to anybody. Crowdfunder and Kickstart. Like somebody who's ever, people who are listening right now and they're thinking about starting a business. What are those two things?
okay, so it's Kickstarter. So it's
Kickstart.
Kickstarter and it's crowdfunding. So essentially it's like pre-selling your product. Like let's say I want to launch like this lipstick and I'm like, I don't have the money to buy the mold and the inventory, which oftentimes is like, tens of thousands of dollars to just like get your first product off the ground. Well, you can essentially pre-sell to customers. So it's like I could say I have 500 of these lipsticks or I'm going to make them, because a lot of it is like it's future state. So you're like, the delivery date will be in 6 months and I'm going to produce this product, and you do this whole campaign just as you would sell to a customer. Like it's like a mini website, and you explain why you need to exist in this world and they need to buy it and all of these things. And then what happens is the people buy the product, essentially they're pre-buying it, knowing it's not going to ship for a while.
Okay.
And then if you make the goal, so you also set a financial goal for yourself, like $10,000. Like if you make $9,000, you actually don't make the goal, you don't get the money. So you have to set that goal that is like achievable in a way. And then anything exceeding you get. So essentially you have to it's just pre-selling product, basically.
Pre-sell. Okay.
They don't get equity in the company or anything like that. It's pre-selling product.
Okay. So you did that. You were successful, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we did like our goal was 20, maybe we did $40,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that must have given you a lot of confidence. Okay, other people like this, we're onto something.
Mm.
And then did you have the actual product before you went on Shark Tank?
Yeah, so we Kick Further happened. We started producing the product. A few things happened, like we got in Goop, we got in Free People, and then Shark Tank. So we had like, but when we went on Shark Tank, we did 2 million in sales. So we had like a business going, and it was like a year and a half in, I believe. And then we went on Shark Tank, and then everything changed.
And you had one product.
One product, exactly. So we went on as a one product brand, and then we quickly, shortly started expanding the assortment.
Right. So Mark Cuban and Maria Sharapova invested in you,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything changed. Would you say everything really started to shift after your appearance there? Because you probably sold so many bangles after you were on there.
Yeah, I think it was like the perfect storm of, we aired on Shark Tank on February 28th of 2020. And then
That's incredible, Natalie. I cannot, you couldn't have planned that better. I mean, I know this is horrible. We're saying COVID was horrible. Hopefully it will never come back. But I mean, come on. Like you couldn't have planned this
before
better.
the world shut down. Literally, it was like 2 weeks before like Tom Hanks got COVID, the NBA thing happened, and it was like, and then everyone needed fitness equipment. It was like toilet paper and fitness equipment. So it was like the combo, and it's kind of like this chicken or egg thing. Like I don't know which really was the more important incident for Bala, but I do think it was like the combo of those two things really put the brand on the map.
So what happened? We were talking previously about how everybody had some time to think during COVID and during the lockdown, but you guys were so busy. What happened after, during COVID?
Yeah, I mean, we were really busy. We went from like 2 to 20 million in sales with a 4-person team. So we were busy, and we were also sold out, or, it was just like, our customers were angry at us because there were like supply chain issues, and like everything was just like messed up. So it was a very like challenging time to like get customers what they needed and have inventory, like all of these things, and also just like grow as a business with a small team. It was very hard, I would say.
And so when did you start creating more products, and how many products do you have now?
Right now, we probably have like 13, I would say. We started, I want to say we launched during COVID, like the summer after COVID. So like probably when we spoke, like July 2020, I think we had launched the Power Ring and the Bala bars, and we
You
started to
did. Yeah, you
lean
had the ring. Yeah.
our design language, which is like silicone on very colorful items, but also like silicone feel on our products, which is very soft and premium and like luxurious compared to, I guess it's not neoprene. What's the normal dumbbell material? So we really started to like play with our materials and exploring and like finding out our design language. Like that's the foam roller right there. And now it's like very like, you can kind of tell what the Bala design language is. But I think, 2020, we were sort of figuring that out. And launching
It's
products is tough. Like you think, oh, I have this idea for a yoga mat, and then it takes 3 years to develop, so it's not easy.
now, why is that for something? What was the hardest one you had to develop?
I also have to just move to charge my computer. So sorry.
Oh, good.
It's going right here. So the reason it is because, let's see, let me plug this. I don't know if you can take this part out of it, but if not, sorry.
That's
people.
okay. It's the real world.
The real world. Okay, so launching products is just tough. It's well, if you're not just getting something off the shelf, the littlest curvature in the yoga mat matters, and the quality of the PU rubber matters, and everything takes a while. So it's like, China ships you a sample, you review it, you ship it back, and then then you think something's going to be perfect, but it's still not right. And so there's just lots of rounds of revisions and material explorations and color sampling. It just takes a while.
So what are the bangles still the best selling items that you have, or has anything surpassed that?
I mean, we used to be 100% bangles. Now, if you look at dollar wise, not unit count, actually the 25-pound beam is, and we've been out of stock on that for a while. And so we're about to get more in stock, but the 25-pound beam is.
That's the bar, right?
Yeah. I have one right there.
Okay. So you can use that for squats, deadlifts.
Yeah, that's very popular, very unique item.
Yeah. They're just so pretty. And when you were talking about the touch and the feel, that's the thing that I loved when I started using the ring. Was I love the feel of everything. And it just has that luxurious touch to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it feels comfy while you're working out.
Right. Okay. So July 2020, we talk, everything's going crazy, and you get pregnant. How, like, what happened? How did your life change then?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very much like, how the heck am I gonna have a baby and do the business? But it's
Do
funny.
it.
Everyone who, yeah, you have a daughter. It's like anyone who has a kid knows that they just kind of like fit into your lifestyle seamlessly, and you don't realize it, and it's scary. And you're like, I'm like asking people like, how do you do this? And how do you make time for this? And they just fit there so seamlessly, So that's kind of what happened. And now I have 3 babies, 2 babies in Bala. So
I know. So you have Watson, who's now how old?
3 years, almost 3 years old.
Okay. And Uma's
9 months, 9 months.
9 months. Wow. That's a full house for you guys.
Definitely.
How has your role changed since you started the business and what it is now? Has it changed, or are you still doing the same type of things, or has it moved around a bit?
It's definitely evolved like back and forth. It's like there's been moments where I've been able to take a little more of a back seat and direct, and then there's moments where I have to come back in and like reorg things. And right now I'm very much in a day-to-day reorg situation right now. So I am very, very involved in many aspects of the business, and we are using a lot of like agencies and partners and things like that help us like level up. But yeah, I would say role has changed definitely and evolved, but still very hands-on, and I'm in the back end doing everything. So
And you still love it.
yeah, some days it's just exhausting, but
Right. I think it's you love what you do, but at the end of the day, some days just feel like work. And, you know, you just can't get around that. It's normal.
Yeah, exactly. And some days feel like I'm not going to get through my to-do list even close. And that, I think you just have to make peace with that.
What would you say was your biggest aha moment while this was all going on? Like, you thought it was going to be one thing, it grew so fast. Did you even have time to think, wow, this is happening to us? I didn't know this was going to catch on so fast. Was there anything where you and Max looked at each other and said, wow, we really did this?
I mean, we try to do that still because it's just like you get carried away and then it's like something exciting happens, then the next exciting thing happens and then a bad thing happens. So you almost don't have time to like relish in it, but the joys or the pains. But I think now we try to like step back and like celebrate a little when something good happens, because otherwise you're just going and going. So yeah, I mean, I do think there has been moments of like, okay, wow, this is crazy how far we've come. But it's like you're not really celebrating yet. You know, it's still like
Right.
there's just so much building to do.
Right. Because you probably have so much more that you want to accomplish with this business.
Yeah. And I wonder when that, like, when for anyone, it feels like enough or like we've gotten, you know, and I guess that's when people sell their companies. But yeah, haven't gotten there yet. There's still more to do.
Right. And what's the biggest lesson you've learned through this whole thing so far?
Honestly, like a little bit of that, like try. Mine is like protecting your mental energy. So, like, even if I have a crazy day of back-to-back meetings and 100, bullet point to-do lists, it's like protecting my energy where it's like maybe like after this call for an hour, running upstairs and hanging out with the baby or something, like making time with that stuff. We're saying like, I am like going to turn in for the day at end of day and I'll pick it back up tomorrow. Like just protecting that because it's really easy to just overwork and then I think you just get burnt out. So I think it's really important to protect your energy. If that means like, hey, I'm overwhelmed, I'm gonna go on a walk, or it's like I really want to get a facial. Okay, I'm doing that tomorrow, even if I am too busy to do it, like making time for yourself and your own energy, basically.
I think there's been a big shift about that, like really taking your mental health and making it a priority since the last few years. Because I think what happened, let me know if you feel the same way. So we had quarantine, COVID, everybody is, just chilling out or super busy. We get out of it, we're out of lockdown. I felt like everybody was going even faster than they were afterwards. And I know for me, I was like, wait, this is too fast for me. It was crazy. Everybody I thought was going crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's like you have to just like slow down and be like, that's not what life's about. And so, yeah, I think that is an important lesson for sure.
So you find the time, you're still doing yoga, you're still working out, and you're making that time for yourself because you know it's important to your mental and physical health.
Of course, but of course, there's weeks where like I haven't had time in 2 weeks to work out. It's like I have a fitness brand, still a normal person where it's like
Right.
very, it's like there's weeks where you can't, and that's just part of it. But I try as much as I can to bake in working out and health into my lifestyle.
I know, because we can't, when we start, then we start getting upset with ourselves. We get down on ourselves. And I always have to remember to give myself grace. So
Mhm.
I didn't work out.
Yes.
I didn't work out today, but I know I'll work out tomorrow. And if
Yourself
something
grace.
happens, right, because we
That.
can't be perfect.
I love that. And honestly, my husband and I went through some recent like business dramatic changes. I won't go into it, but basically it's like he was saying that every day because it was like hard weeks upon us. This was like months back, and he was just like, give ourselves grace. And it like calmed me.
Oh,
Like, we're not going to get through it all today. It's not going to be perfect. And there may be, emails left unread at the end of the day, but give yourself grace. You can only do what you can.
I know. I tell my daughters that all the time. So do you feel that it sounds like the two of you are amazing business partners together? A lot of people say that's very difficult. I love it. I think you guys seem to be like a huge power couple. Obviously, you are. But does it ever get to be, well, hey, we're not going to talk about business tonight. We're just going to talk about ourselves, about the kids, our life?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. We try to set those boundaries. Like we're going on a date, we're not going to talk about Bala. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we still talk about Bala, but yeah, we try to set those boundaries honestly. And especially like at night, it's like maybe one night he's working late and I just need to like check out. It's like, okay, don't talk to me about Bala right now. I'm like, I'm not there. And we do that to each other, and we haven't like made a code word for it, but we're kind of like, I don't want to, like, we just know, hey, I'll engage with that tomorrow, you know?
Right. You have
And
to shut
so,
it off.
and it's funny because a lot of times, like, if he's in like a really stressful head state, then I kind of have to be in like the optimistic, like, we got this because this, and then vice versa. I'll be like really down on something in the business, and he's like, no, it's good because of this. And so we kind of flip flop on like who's the cheerleader, which is good.
That's really nice. That's really good. When you started the business going back, were there friends and family that said, seems like a dumb idea? You shouldn't quit your day job. I don't think you should do this. Don't put all your money into it. What was the advice you were getting from family and friends?
A lot of people didn't get it. They were like, wrist weights. Like they just didn't get it. Honestly, it was funny. Some people got it. A lot of friends and family didn't get it. And they're like, okay, cute, try it, you know? Um, Especially the guys. Like I am like thinking about like some of the guys that were Max's friends that we told about it, and they were just like, they just did not relate or get
They're
it.
like, dude, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah, they were just like, I don't really get it, but I'll buy one on Kickstarter. So
That's, I think, the
people did
hardest.
support. That's the good thing. It's like people, whether they got it or not, like we sent them, hey, buy our Kickstarter, and they did. You know, like that's what's cool is like people did support, and I always try to support others too who are starting anything, always down to like riff on their business idea or give them advice or buy their first purchase, you know.
Right.
So I do think that's nice.
And what advice would you give a woman? I just pulled woman out of there because we're both women, but a woman who wanted to start her own business, had a product, and everybody around her said, yeah, I don't really think you should do this. I think it's so hard to follow your truth, what you truly believe in, and go after it without letting the other people persuade you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I do think a few things. So I think if you're confident it's a good idea, like you just have to keep going. And like, but I do think eventually you do need to get customer proof. So like ours was the Kickstarter where it's like, would people actually buy this? Because at a certain point, if nobody would, that is also like I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying maybe you need to like tweak it, if it's jeans, like add buttons, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I do think there's like two sides of that. Like one, if you know your idea is good, like go all at it. But I do think there's the second side of test the market. And even if that means like 30 friends, and maybe if everybody says they hate it, you can say, wait, maybe I had the wrong like demographic here. Maybe I'm in like an older or a younger crowd. So test that demographic. And then if you're still hitting a hard spot, maybe it's like tweak the product, you know, because I do think getting that customer feedback is important.
Speaking of your ideal client, you said it was a woman. I'm 62. You're in your 30s. Was she any age, or was she 20, 30-ish?
So she is like I mean, any age, honestly. And we want to be the brand that is like a female, like through her life
Right.
journey. You know, she's in college, maybe she has a kid, maybe she doesn't, and then her later years and all of that. So that is very important to us as a brand. But right now, our demographic majority of the customers are like 28 to like 38. And
But
but
that
I see majority, like I don't have the stats in front of me, but like maybe like 50% are that. And then there's like the 40 to 60 is like 10%. So we still have like all the ages. It's just majority are in that like kind of, I don't know, is that called middle age? It's like 20, 30s, early 40s.
okay.
Yeah.
So did that surprise you that you had so many, that 28 to 38 demographic, or was that what you thought was going to buy it?
I am not that surprised because I knew it was more of like it's like you have to like be in the know to know about it, you know. Now we launched in Target, so now our demographic could completely change because it's like more mainstream now. But it's like at the beginning of Ball, it was more like you had to be in the know, like you're shopping at Goop or Free People or Equinox, you know.
That's
But
why I'm saying
definitely,
it was like a status symbol.
yeah. But you're definitely our demographic too, you know, like you very, very much are. It's just like if you're looking at like the actual percentages, it's like skews a little more like 30s, 40s. And also it's crazy that you're 62. Like you, whatever you're drinking, like
Oh, thank you.
I'm
Oh,
sure you hear that all the time, but I'm like, give me that drink.
you are very kind. You know, it's just like when I talk to somebody who's over 60 about my podcast,
Yeah.
and they say to me, "What's a podcast? How do I listen to it?" And I think it was the same thing about Bala. If you weren't in the know, if you weren't on social media, if you didn't have a friend who was getting them and talking about them, because we were all talking about it. And me being in the fitness industry, I brought it into the classes, and all the women bought it. And they were like, "Oh, this is cool." And then their friends would see, and these were 40, 50, and 60-year-old women. They thought, "Oh, these 60-year-old women are really cool because they have the Bala
Yeah.
bagels." So, but yes. So when did you go into Target?
Recently, just
That's what I
like
thought.
literally a month ago. So very
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. We're excited because it feels like, you know, we are the Target customer. We're like on the more premium end of Target positioning, but we're definitely like our girl shops at Target. So we're excited.
It seems like everybody shops at
Yeah,
Target.
exactly. Everybody.
I don't like big stores. I
Yeah,
can't go in
I
there.
get I get that. But
But when I saw that, I think I saw it on your Instagram. I thought, wow, was
yeah.
that so? Are in any other big stores like that now? Because at the beginning you were very boutiquey. That's what you wanted to be,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, this is like this is definitely the biggest. We're in like Saks and Bloomingdale's and things like this. But definitely Target's like the game changer for us.
That must be crazy that you're in Target
Yeah.
with all of the items, or what are you selling in there?
Just a couple of items, and then we're online with most of our items. But yeah, we hope to expand the assortment too.
I know you opened up a pop-up in Soho. Are you still there, or was that
No, that was only 6 months. So
okay?
sadly, it was awesome,
I
but
know you were really excited
short.
about that. I
Yeah,
wanted to go there. I never got
I
in to
know. I can't
see
believe it. You
it.
come next time.
Tell us about Bala size.
So ball size is essentially the first question people ask when we hand them a product. It's like, where are the workout videos? How can I work out with this? So it's our online platform where you can work out with our products, and it's really like beautifully done. It's like it's very different than what all the other fitness platforms out there aesthetically, and the workouts are amazing. We have insane trainers, and yeah, there will be a lot more to come on Bala size.
So somebody who gets on, is there an app? So for the
Not
people
yet, but
listening,
there
okay.
should be by January.
All right. So if I wanted to do Bala size, do I go to your website?
Yeah, you can go to our website or you can go to ballasize.com and literally sign up. There's like a free month and then it's 19.99 a month.
Okay, for unlimited workouts?
Mhm. Oh, I mean, we are adding weekly workouts. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's so much fun. I mean, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Did you anticipate that coming? Did you anticipate like go ahead.
I mean, it was like a natural evolution. It just made sense because customers will tell you the path to go, you know, and they were like, we want workouts from you. So it was like, it was a natural evolution, but I really firmly believe in like listening to your customer along the way. They're going to guide the way of like the future of your company, honestly, because they're like they're the reason you exist.
Right. So when you were in advertising, did you what you knew about advertising, was there anything that set you up for this adventure, this journey?
Yes, I think I learned how to market uh, a product a little bit and brand a product and also like creativity. I kind of just like was around a lot of creative people, and I think all of that really helped Max and myself with the Bala brand, and like, you know, just knowing what a good photo shoot looks like or connects in LA for photographers or models, things like that. So I think all of it definitely helped me with Bala and like the secret sauce.
we were talking about fashion and fitness. So soon after you on Shark Tank, you have Maria Sharapova and Mark with you, and you do these photo shoots with these women wearing heels and the bangles around their ankles and around their wrists. And how did people react to that? I loved it. I thought it was so gorgeous. I love the color. I love the elegance. I love the femininity, and, really leaning into that feminine strength. But what was the reaction that you received from that?
Yeah, I mean, we always say that the first time we posted a woman working out in heels, it's like people loved it or they hated it. And I think there's a lesson there, because it's like you really want people to feel things in your branding. You don't want them to be complacent or indifferent. So, you loved it, and somebody might have hated it and said, why are they wearing heels? But regardless, we made like a statement. We made them feel something. And I think in marketing and branding, like, you want people to feel something.
Yeah, that's what I felt right away. I'm like, wow, this is
I love it.
strong.
There are people.
This is really, really strong. And I love how your instructors are all different ages also.
Yeah, always. It's very important for us to show all ages, every kind of person.
So what's next?
What's next? I mean, more products for sure. I'm like on my vision board. I want like a Bala studio somewhere, a Bala size studio, maybe like Austin or something. But yeah, I mean, what's next for us is continuing to launch more Bala size videos, more products, and really just like working out with our customers.
That sounds like so much fun. I would love for you to open up studios all over the
So
country.
fun.
It would be so cool, because I think it's very important for women to understand, and men, but again, focusing more on women since that's your ideal client, is understanding that you can do a workout with light weights, like with Bala, or you can go to the gym and use heavier weights, but it's having that balance
Yeah.
of working out with lighter weights, working out with heavier weights, and be okay with both. So many of my clients used to say, well, do I use this or do I use that? And I said, you could do both. And
Mhm.
what's beautiful about your products is you can take them anywhere also,
Exactly.
anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Get a workout on the go.
Yeah. So what are all the products now? You said there were 13.
So I
I
mean,
know.
we have like the yoga mat, the yoga block, foam roller, the beam, power ring, Bola bars, resistance bands, and more to come.
Resistant. Oh, you have resistant bands?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. All right. I have one last question for you. What does it mean for you to live a fearlessly authentic life?
For me, that is like trying things, and I'm very much like everything that's come to me that has been great in this world has been from like taking a chance and trying something and not knowing how it's gonna um, turn out, but like trying it and knowing that if it doesn't work out, it's going to be okay. If it does work out, it's going to be great. And so I do think that that ethos has been like very much like in our Bala world. And I think that that is definitely like my style too.
I love that. Well, it was so, so good to catch up with you, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much. It was great to see you.
When you come to New York, you have to get in touch with me.
I will.
I really would love to see you.
Yes, definitely. Next time I come.
All right. And one last thing, how can people buy your products? Where do they go?
Shopbala.com, or you can follow us on Instagram just at Bala.
Okay, wonderful. Natalie Holloway, Bala, thank you so much. I'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you for joining us for Fearlessly Authentic. And until next week, go live your most fearlessly authentic life, and make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Bye, everybody.